yourself first, and then I can put that at
Oh,
the
yes, ma'am. John Smith. Yes, ma'am.
That's
I'm a
awesome. And what
teacher
is
over
your
here.
role with the ACE program?
I'm a teacher, and I help with mentoring. I help with the gaming club. We used to have a sports club, did that. Pretty much anything and everything ACE needs as far as, from a teacher's perspective, that's what I help with.
Great. What do you teach?
I teach world history, government, and economics. And last year was College 101 with that, and also mentor, and I help with the college kids that do early college.
Awesome. Okay. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
tell me a little bit more about the gaming club. How did you get started? Why?
Um, Mr. Ford actually started the gaming club a few years ago. It was just, it's an interest that our kids have. And in all honesty, the kids love to play video games. I'm sure you know that as well. They love to play video games anytime they can on the spare time and stuff. And so we're like, well, how can we turn that into something educational? And so whenever we started doing this, it was kind of small, but it gradually picked up. And of course, we started with games that are popular. So games like Fortnite, Madden 19. We even had FIFA for a little bit. I want to say there was a basketball game, if I'm correct, right? Was there a basketball game, right, or no?
I don't think we ever went basketball, but I think Brawlhalla
There was
the next one.
yes, that was it then, the Brawlhalla, yes. And so, we picked up these games because the kids, are interested in these games. And then so what we did is we also take these games and then show them a career in it. Or we show, if you're going to go to college, I want you to be a game designer. So we show them different things like this to help them get their interest built in it. And that way, because it is going to be a very profitable business, and it already is. And so you can make a career out of not only playing games, but even building them and, coming up with the general ideas and working for a gaming company. So kind of something that the kids were interested in, but didn't know they could take further.
Okay.
And so that's how we kind of started. And then, of course, now we got, PlayStations. Some of the kids have their own home consoles. And so they play at home, especially right now since, we can't be, we're away from school and we can't really see the kids. It helps. Like the way we did it was, we at first were like, well, how do we track, like attendance and stuff with these kids? And so it's like, okay, well, I talk to the kids, via Google Classroom, because we have Google Classroom. And on there, I can post something. And those kids that typically would show up during the school hours when we were in school, well, we added those kids to the gaming list, the typical kids that were there. And if there was any more interest, we could send them an invite and then they can accept it. So we have this general list of kids that stay with us for the gaming club. And then what we do after that is if they have a gamer tag, which is like an identification that they use to play video games, if they have that, if they could share that with me, and then I can find them on my Xbox that I have at home. And then I can track them one of two ways. They can either, as they're doing the weekly challenges, because we post it on Google Classroom, so they can actually get onto there and they can actually
gaming challenges, weekly challenges.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so it's geared towards them. So like, for example, let's say the weekly challenge is, they're playing Fortnite. Maybe that's the game of the week. So the game of the week is Fortnite. Their weekly challenges get like 5 kills, 10 kills, 7 kills, something like that. Something that's hard to do. And so what they'll do then is they will then take a screenshot at the end. They know how to do all the screenshots. They take a screenshot of their gaming, and they post it on the Google Classroom, or they could send it to me in an email, or if I'm online on the Xbox, I can go and check their profiles, and they can send me a picture through there. And so I can track attendance like one to two ways. Like if we're in person, that's pretty easy, right? Because you just watch them and they're there, right? But since we're away, it's kind of hard to do. So I can do attendance by either having them comment on the Google Classroom or by logging into my Xbox, and I can see the gamer tags and who's playing games. Now, the neat thing about that is if you're on a console and you're away from them, you can click on their name once you've added them, and you can actually go to their game. You can either follow them and just kind of watch them, or you can actually join. And if you have the game, you can join them with them and be like, hey guys, I'm here. Let's go have some fun. Okay. And so it's kind of neat. Like when you're face to face, you can actually play with them, right? Okay. We host like tournaments and stuff like that during the school year. That way we can keep their interest and we can have them competitively go against each other. And considering it's crazy. There's, I posted videos when we started the online, and these videos showed people that are very successful in either playing games or making games, and they can watch these videos for their future career. And so when I was posting these videos, it was kind of neat. Like some of those guys, they make millions of dollars by playing a video game. They win a tournament, make millions. And you're like, man, I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it was that easy. Well, some of our kids are pretty good at it, so we're like, hey, let's encourage you. You go out there and you compete. You may win a lot of money, and that's kind of neat. You can make
So
a
you're really
career out of
talking
doing
about the career aspect of it as well.
It's so strange though, isn't it? Because it's like, as a kid, you're told, hey, don't play video games. You're just gonna waste your life. And now, some reason, video games you can make money on it now. It's like, that's so weird. And so, like, that's how we can attract them, to come. And of course, if they're really good at it, hey, make a career out of it. If you can't compete professionally, then why don't you make the games or design the games or work with the team? Something like that is kind of neat. And so, we can show them all that stuff. But Brian, you want to say anything on that one, or?
Yes, another thing we do is we also look for schools that have
Brian,
esports.
could you just introduce yourself really quickly? Because I'm videoing this. Could you just do a quick intro on who you are and what your position is?
Sure. My name is Brian Ford, and I'm the high school site coordinator for Freer High School. And another thing we also do is me and Mr. Smith, we not only look for different careers they can go into, we also look for colleges that offer esports and scholarships for that. So that way, if they're interested in it, they can look at the universities that we found and what they offer, and like different universities. Like I know there's one conference very close by to us. They have a tournament, a conference tournament, and where they get together and they esports. And we're talking about maybe possibly seeing if we can maybe get in contact with these universities, so that way our students know, like, if they're really interested and passionate about it, there are universities that offer it and that are close by.
Oh, that's great. And did it start off as a college career readiness, or did it start off as just a club for fun for the kids to have some?
Oh, yeah.
It started off as for fun.
Yes, it was fun.
As we evolved and learned more about the grant, we're like, hey, we got to add more to it than just them playing video games. And the students took it well. When we start telling them, hey, you can make this much by doing game designing, or this university offers that. And so some of the students who weren't interested in going to college are now starting to second guess themselves and thinking, hey, if I can do this and go to college, maybe I should.
Wow. And so what age ranges are you guys doing your club with?
Well, it ranges, because we've had middle school some years. We mainly deal with high schoolers, though, from freshmen to seniors.
Okay. And what are you guys doing now?
Right now, currently freshmen through seniors, just because of the whole COVID issue that's going on right now. We can't really see all the same faces that we used to see.
Right.
I was going to tell you that. I'm trying to think of this. We're always trying to improve. That's a key, because if you have a standard program where you're just doing the same thing over and over, you get stagnant.
Okay.
So what we try to do is, like this year, we're going to try to have the kids create a game. Even if it's just an 8-bit simple coded game, we want them to start getting their hands on it. That way they can either decide a career in it, go to college for it, or even then, they'll have fun building it. And we get to see that, and it's kind of neat, taking a new step forward. And we're going to see as much as we can, maybe even compete against other schools as well.
So now you're going to start into coding this year, coding for video game design?
Yes, that's our goal. We're going to try to get the kids to design a game either every semester or, in a year in total. We just got to get the programs and get that all set up.
Okay. And one of the reasons for that is just to keep it something new and interesting, so the kids keep wanting to come back and stuff. And
well, that, and if they want a career in it, they have a little bit of hands-on it.
Okay.
And so this can help them either build that career in that area, or it may just persuade them to do something different. Maybe that was all cool, but then it didn't really work out. So maybe they'll just play games instead.
What are some of
So
the things that you guys have learned along the way that has gotten you to where you are now? Like if somebody was looking to start a video game program or a gaming club like you guys had, what are some of the lessons that you've learned that they could see from it?
well, I
I,
mean, it's all trial and error.
yeah,
It really is. It's all trial and error, and then you have to get involved with the kids. So you can sit there and set it all up, and you can put it on a little TV or something in your room, right? And you set it up. Okay, y'all go play. Well, then they may get a little bored. So then you go. You know what? I'm gonna challenge you. And here's the challenge. You can either participate with them or you can give them a go and be like, okay, the first guy to get this, then, you'll get a lollipop or something. And then so they start getting competitive amongst themselves. And then as time goes, they take over that responsibility when you're face to face. They'd be like, you know what, I'm going to challenge you today to this. And it's kind of funny. And you're like, okay, well, bring the challenge. Let's go. And
So you're constantly giving them one of the things that you learn to build engagement is to just give them a goal to work towards, to
yes,
just kind of go have fun, but really give them something to work towards, something a little bit.
yes. Something that they can, keep them engaged, and something that's fun and rewarding in a way. I mean, if you accomplish some of the things that they've done and as a challenge, they feel pretty proud about that, and that helps them. Like, okay, maybe I want to go in this career.
Okay.
and then building relationships. Like the stronger your relationship is with the student, the better off you're going to be, because now you'll be able, it's a lot easier to figure out what they want. And the big thing with us is like figuring out which console to get. Should we get an Xbox? Should we get a PlayStation?
Okay.
And because of our relationship with the students, and we could just easily ask them, hey, which one do you want? And then following through. And once they see that, hey, I can come to this person and with an ideal, and they're going to follow through, it gets a lot easier, because then they'll just come to you. It's like, hey, I had this ideal about this. Can we do this? And it's more student led at that point. If they know, like, hey, I can go to this person, and they're going to follow through with what they say they're going to do.
So instead of just kind of throwing something out there and saying, we're going to do gaming club, and you buy everything and set everything up and then expect the students to come, you really put a lot of them into it. What do you want? What do you want to do? And asked a lot of questions. So it became about them and about what they wanted. And then that led into having it be a little bit more student led.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that transition to it being more student led?
Well, I mean, we did surveys and we asked them, what type of programming they wanted. Well, that's good, but then once you give them what they want, it's like now we have to adjust it to make it to where they want to come, make it more enticing so they'll come every day or whatever we offer. So, once we have them in there, we're always up and about. We're always interacting with students. That's one of the things that, I require my staff to do, is be interactive. And we're always asking, what do you want? What do you need? How can we help you? And then just like I said, making sure we're following through on that. And if we can't, let them know, hey, I tried, but due to this reason, we can't do it this way. So let's rethink it, and let's come up with a different way to get it accomplished. And they've taken it upon themselves now to just come to us and say, hey, we like that you tried this, but can we try this better? I think most of us would like it to do a different way.
Okay.
And as long as it doesn't interfere in what we're trying to accomplish, we usually go with it, because that's what they're asking for.
Okay.
Now, I was going to say that we also have at the same time going on, not only the video game aspect, but we also have board games as well in the gaming club. That's also going on simultaneously. Some kids may not want to do the video games, but they'll play Risk or Monopoly or something like that. And those skills you can use for strategy, finances, basic things like that. So we can tie all of that in to something TEKS related. Especially, I teach economics, government law. I can tie a bunch of that stuff into TEKS that we're already doing. And we can make that into something that's very educational as well. So, I mean, like board games we have are like Risk, Monopoly. We did Fortnite Monopoly. That one was pretty popular for a while.
Board
We
game
have
monopoly. Okay, I've never heard of it.
checkers. It's kind of funny. It's just like, supposed to getting money, you have health, and as time goes, your health dies like in the game, and if you die, the game's over.
Wow, very
It,
cool.
it's kind of neat, and we played it with the kids, and we challenged them quite a bit on that one. And we also have like checkers, chess. I got some old games. The Game of Ur, it's an ancient game, like 5,000 years old. We have
Wow.
Mancala, which is a very old game as well. The kids like those simple games sometimes. And so while we're playing video games as well, we can also bring up the board games and do strategy aspects and have them think deeper as well. So that way it's like, if you're going to build a program, have an option, video game, board games. And then as time goes, you can modify both to meet the students' needs. And some, like Mr. Ford said, they'll probably ask for games.
Okay.
And the more open you are with it, as long as it's within the rating, right? You don't want something that's going to bring a lot of bad rating. So check it out beforehand. But, whatever the kids want, go with. They build your program in that sense.
Interesting. And so you found a good mix with the games, that combining the esports games with the more traditional board games has been a really nice blend to continue engagement, but then also build on the TEKS skills. It sounds like you buy games with some intention about how can we utilize these with critical thinking and all of that.
Yes, because we want the educational aspect of things. It's not all about just running around shooting people. That's why we want to bring the coding to the video game. But as far as board games, most of those games are strategy games. You're going to make a move, but you're going to have to think about that move. Is that a good move or not a good move? And then you're going to have to tie into money. Can I afford it? Can I not afford it? How much will I be able to finance at this point? It's just, we're trying to keep that educational aspect to it while they're still learning at the same time while they're having fun.
Right. Okay. All right. Anything else that you guys can think of that would be a good thing for somebody to know if they're looking to start up a club? Otherwise, I have some questions from another site coordinator too.
Okay. As far as it goes, it's what your kids want. Offer them things. If they don't like it, then just put it aside. Ask their opinion on things. Ask them their challenges. Ask them something they would like to see, and your program will build as time goes. You can't get everything that we've done now in one go. It takes time to build. Right. So this is over the course of 2 to 3 years? I think so, yes. Right? Yes. And so we've gotten this far just by, pretty much the kids. The kids have told us what they want, and we build off of their energy and off of what they're doing. And you turn that program around real quick if you just do that.
And then be hands-on. Like, the more you're involved, the more they enjoy it. The more that you'll sit down and play a game with them, and the more that you sit down and just talk to them about what's going on, the more they enjoy it, the more comfortable they get with you, and the more they'll just start opening up to you.
Okay, so you guys have really used the esports too as a bridge to just build that mentorship and that staff relationship and just get on the kids' level.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Some of the other questions that they had were, what does ACE Esports look like if it's also considered a UIL event?
Well, we don't have that UIL. So, we just focus on, we have our own esports tournament within everybody that comes. So we don't compete with anybody. I know there were talks of we're trying to try to get involved in the UIL, but we currently have not. So we just keep it amongst ourselves, and we keep it as more of a fun thing than a fun competitive thing than an actual UIL competitive event.
Okay. Let's see. It says some of the other questions were, what games do we want to concentrate on? And are there specific games that we should focus on if we want to work statewide?
Fortnite. Fortnite is the key. It's like our biggest problem is sometimes we have to ban them from playing Fortnite for a week. It's like, you're going to play something else, because otherwise they'll play Fortnite every day you allow them to.
Okay. Which part of the Fortnite game?
Mr. Smith?
They play all kinds of different types. Sometimes we challenge them to play the team events, solo events, ranked matches. And when it comes time for it, what the kind of games that we're looking for, something that's going to deal with that critical thinking of strategy, using that next level, decision making. It's just something that we can tie in educationally to a TEK that is going to be educational for them. But in the meantime, they're having fun.
Okay.
And that's the biggest key, is that we're finding something that's going to challenge them, that they're going to have fun with, that they're going to have to think about every decision they're going to be making in there. Was it a good decision, bad decision? So.
Have you guys had much interest in I know Minecraft and Fortnite were two of the more popular ones. You found that Fortnite is really the one that's kind of been far and away
Well, we need to get Minecraft because we have had requests for it, and we were telling them this year we'd probably get it. Minecraft is excellent. When you're talking about building strategy and things, that's an excellent one. But we would have to play that one on a separate screen because we can do both at the same time. We can have a Fortnite going on, and then we can also have Minecraft. And we're working on this year getting a third screen so we can have another game or another console loaded as well, so we can have another game running at the same time.
I see. Okay. So Fortnite, it would be the big one to focus on.
He'll build your program very quick.
Fortnite. Okay.
Yes.
It asks, what do tournaments look like in the ACE program? And could we compete with other programs in different cities, which I think you said you guys haven't done yet, but can you talk a little bit about what the tournaments look like within your own program?
Okay, the tournaments, we let them make their own teams. We put them in teams of 4 to 5, and then we give them 2 weeks to prepare. So just so they can get comfortable with each other. And then we tell them, like, hey, we're going to be playing 2 games like Fortnite and Brawlhalla. And then we let them rank themselves 1 through 4 or 5. And then we pair them with the team's best player in that particular game. So the 2 best players from each team will play that certain game, and
okay,
everybody will go against everybody, and then the team with the most points win. We have our grant with San Diego. So I know I was talking to the San Diego site coordinator about setting up some kind of a online tournament between each school just for like bragging rights.
okay.
So that way we give them a couple weeks to prepare, and then because traditionally there is a rivalry between Freer and San Diego.
Okay.
So we figured the students would like it if they could say, oh, we beat Freer, or oh, we beat San Diego. And so just a little friendly rivalry to keep the spirit going.
So what do you do then? You give them a particular task or mission that they're going to have to do for the tournament, and then they prepare for that?
Either that, or we set it up to where they could play one-on-one, like versus each other. And then so we usually put a time limit on it. And so whoever has the most kills or gets the furthest wins.
Okay. Let's see. And then how often do you guys do tournaments?
We do it probably like once a month.
Once a month. Okay. All right. One of the other questions, and I'm just going back and forth muting each of you because I don't know if you're in the same room, but I get a lot of feedback so I'm just, feel free to unmute yourself if you wanted to say something. I'm just only muting it just so that we're not getting all that feedback.
Okay. I was going to tell you that for tournaments right now, since we're out of school and the COVID and all that, we have weekly tournaments because I can just post it to the Google Classroom, and then they can send me their screenshots via Google Classroom, or they can do it on the Xbox console that I have at home. It's just, we try to keep them engaged so that way they're doing it every week, and they're actually a goal for them to try to attain, so that we stop them playing. They're trying to actually accomplish something in the process. Yes, ma'am.
So they need to have a gaming console at home, or is this something that they can play on a tablet? Or
they can play, like, that's what we like Fortnite. Fortnite, it's called a cross-platform. So you can play PlayStation, Xbox, cell phone, anywhere there's an internet connection and you have a device for it, they can get on there and they can play, and they can even join each other cross-connection. So if one has a PlayStation, one has an Xbox, one has a cell phone, they can join together as a team and play together.
So you can even play on your cell phone?
That's correct. Sometimes we don't have enough controllers in the room for everyone to play. So they'll get on their cell phones and we're like, what are you doing? And they're like, I'm on the TV. And you look and you're like, oh, like y'all are on the team on there. That's kind of cool. And you're like, that's how we learned that you could do that. We didn't know you could do that. They're like, yeah, you could do it. All easy.
Wow. Okay.
How we do.
Very cool.
Yes,
One of the other questions was, what are purchasing guidelines for digital downloads? For example, games, subscriptions, downloadable content, e-currency.
Okay, Brian, I'll let you.
Well, we actually got ours through the person who wrote our grants. They actually purchased our PlayStations.
Okay.
So we really hadn't had that issue of purchasing. They purchased it. They purchased a total of 4 PlayStations for us.
Okay. Do you have to do any subscriptions or anything?
But for Fortnite, no.
Okay.
We don't do any subscription. And then a lot of the students, they'll open up their own personal account so everybody can play. And then when they leave, they just close it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say for their personal accounts, they can make their own purchases away from us. And all they have to do is log in with their gamer tag, and it will give them all the stuff that they've purchased at home, and it comes to them digitally. And so some games we may not have bought, they already have. And so they'll bring it, and they can just simply download it onto the PlayStation, their account, and they can play.
Okay. So you utilize some of the student subscriptions as well.
Yes, ma'am. And often they do it, and we're like, that's a new game. What are y'all doing? And so they tell us, like, oh, okay. And we kind of monitor to make sure it's okay to play, because they have brought some games that you're like, you can't play that here.
Okay.
And they generally don't argue. They'll say, oh, okay, I didn't know. And like, okay, we'll play something else that's a little more appropriate.
So have you guys been able to incorporate both boys and girls, or is it mainly all boys, or?
It ranges, right, Ms. Ford? It ranges.
We've had some, surprise. Like there's some girls that get on their phone, and the guys don't even know it, and then they're arguing with each other like, "Who killed me? Who killed me?" And she's in the background laughing because she just wiped out everybody, and nobody knows who did it.
Okay. What have you found to be helpful to get girls to participate in the program? I know a lot of the esports can be traditionally.
Yes, they like dancing games. Not gonna lie.
The dancing.
Sometimes when they're bored, they'll just start dancing. They'll turn on a music video and start dancing. Like, well, why don't we get a game for you? Would you play it? And then so we get them a game that they can dance with, and they'll track their movement on sensors and stuff. And so they'll do that. They enjoy that. So we're planning on this year to actually get either a console or a game that's going to actually, like, we can actually put on its own screen just for the girls, or even the guys that want to do that as well. We're just trying to offer them games that are more suited to what they want.
Okay. And they really like the dancing games. Anyone in particular?
Just
ones in particular?
Yes, Just Dance is the biggest.
Dance is the popular one?
Yes.
Okay.
The K-pop music and all that stuff, they love that stuff.
And you have to have some specific equipment to do the dancing games? Did you say?
Well, we want to get the Switch this year. I'm not going to say we're going to get it, but we would like to, because that game has these sensors already built into it. And so for that console, you just pick up the controllers and you can do that. Whereas, like right now we even have, like for the PlayStation, we have VR. And so for this one, it uses all their senses, and it tracks them like if you're in a 3D world, and they see that on their screen, and we get to see them do their thing. So it just depends. You could get a motion sensor. Like I said, for PlayStation, we have VR. It's kind of funny watching them do those games. they're in their own little world. We're watching them in their world, and you're like, oh man, he's not good at that.
Oh wow. Okay, so the VR's been pretty popular as well.
What was that, man?
They like the VR. That's been pretty popular.
Yes, it's funny, and they're weird games. Some of those games, it's like was an office simulator. They have to sit in an office desk, and they have to do things like type on a computer and staple something, and they struggle with those basic things. Yeah.
They like that one?
Oh, it's funny, yes, because it's like you have to move each one of your fingers, and you have to move your hand forward, backward. You have to grab things, and some of them they grab a stapler like this. And they're trying to staple something, and they can, and it falls, and oh god, it's funny to watch.
What game is the Office game on?
That one was on the PlayStation on the VR, and that one's free. There's a lot of VR games. If you just check, if you have a VR set, there's a lot of games for free out there. They're cheesy.
What's a
they're
VR
really funny.
set?
It's just the headsets what we have.
Goggles. Okay.
It's got these little wands that you control with your hand.
Okay.
And so that one's kind of funny. The kids like the VR, and then they'll during the day they'll interchange with VR, regular game, and they may go to a board game afterwards. It's just whatever they feel like they want to do.
I think our most popular game with the girls is Uno. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. So they, in some respects, prefer the card games.
Yes,
Yes.
and it's weird. Like they love the game of life.
Okay.
All of them, they love the game of life, and they'll play that for hours. And,
Really?
yeah, because I play it one time and I'm done, but they'll play for hours and they'll do rematch after rematch after
Oh,
rematch.
interesting.
Uno as well. Uno, they get into some fierce competition.
Okay. Any other ones that you found to be particularly successful with engaging girls?
Let's see, live Uno.
Like
Just
really in that Fortnite Monopoly. Also,
yes,
they really like that too. Even though they don't play Fortnite, but they like the Fortnite Monopoly
yes,
because
it's strange.
the games are really faster than regular Monopoly.
Okay.
And then they'll like standard card games like with poker cards. They like. I'm trying to think of the other one was. What was that other one? I know they like Connect Four, Trouble.
So they really tend to gravitate a lot more to the physical manipulative games rather than the e-games.
Yes,
Yes.
and sometimes when the guys that are playing the electronic games, they may go, you know what, you can't do anything, and then the girls migrate over to the video games, and then they start owning, they start
Okay.
showing their talents to the boys, and the boys are like,
Yeah.
And then one
challenge
one
you.
one very unique thing that I found like amazing was we have a special needs female student, and she started coming to Ace, and she loved watching the boys play Fortnite, and the boys picked up on that, and by themselves they took her under their wing and they showed her how to play Fortnite, and then next thing you know, she's beating them.
Really?
Um, yes, and like they are like so protective of her. You cannot say anything to her without their approval. Like they're like big brothers almost to her.
Wow, that's super cool. So they've really built a lot of relationships through playing the games and everything too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Um, can you tell me a little bit more about how you guys have, what your, I guess, participation has been like during the COVID-19 closures versus when everything was in person?
Well, I mean, it ranges, but for the most part, we have lost a little, but we can always, like I said, use different medias to track where they're at. And that's the key, because we can't bring in the board games right now because
Right.
we can't meet with them face to face. But if they were to record that game between them and someone else that they did, maybe a sibling that's with them, we could give them that credit for being there. And so that's why we lost a few, because the board game aspect, and then some of the kids are playing games but they're not reporting it to us, or I may not have them on my thing. So I'm like, just add me and I'll
Right.
follow you, Jordan, some credit with it.
Yeah, it's been a challenge.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Anything else that you guys can think of so it sounds like some of the key takeaways are that it's really important to build that relationship and not just supervise and stand over their shoulder, but really get in there and be hands-on with them.
Yes.
That seemed to help a lot. Having the mix of the board games, card games, and the esports games and then I'm sorry, you talked about one more type of game. I think you were rotating it. Oh, the virtual reality.
The virtual, yes. Virtual's
Having
new.
the rotation of those three things that they can do has really helped. And
Oh,
then
yes. And that's why we want to also have them build a game this year. That way we can also bring in more kids that maybe didn't want to play games but are interested in that career. And they
okay,
can come in and make their own custom game that they can play eventually on the big screen and challenge people on that one too.
okay, awesome. And what equipment would you recommend for people to get started? Or you said talk to your kids to see what games they really are interested in. But if somebody were
Yes,
just kicking something off, what would you say would be the first thing to look at?
your basic consoles, your Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. You probably just want to get one or two of those and test. And that's as far as the video game aspect. In our classrooms, our district bought us these things called, and you can see behind me, called smart board, and it's a giant TV. But before that, we also put our games on TV. So if you look over here, last year's summer we played games on that TV.
Okay.
And so, just have a TV, a console, and if you can't afford the console, then find games you can play on your cell phone, and just have the kids challenge each other in a circle or something on a cell phone until you get those funds. And in the meantime, you can also go to Walmart and buy, $8 board games.
Okay.
And you can bring those in, your classics, get Uno, get Monopoly, get Life, the classic board games you can find everywhere that are cheap. And you'll be surprised. Some of those kids have never picked up Uno cards. They've never picked up the game of Life, and you give it to them, and then they love it. And you're like, how come I've never played this before?
But you said it makes a difference if you really sit down and play with them versus just throwing a big pile of board games out.
Yes, you can't do that with board games. You got to sit with them and say, okay, these are the rules. Let's play a game together, and then let's play another one. And afterwards, you guys take over. And I won't be the banker, if you're doing Monopoly anymore. I said, I just want to play, so I'll play against you, and I'll challenge you.
Okay.
That definitely helps.
And then also when you're doing like the tournaments, like the esports tournament, try to make it as extravagant as you can for them. Because I know when we do ours, we host it in the auditorium. So we have this big seat auditorium with this pull down screen that they actually can play on. So it feels a lot different than just being in a classroom like a regular day. Like this is a special day because they have the auditorium to themselves.
So you make it like a really big event, like a real esports tournament where there's the big screen up there and everybody's kind of sitting around watching. It's not just a day.
Yes.
Oh, good tip. And you do that about once a month, you said?
Yes, we try to do that at least once a month. Pretty much depending on like schedules, because some of them are in different activities, so
right.
We try to work around it as best as we can.
Okay. What board games have you found that have been really successful with the boys?
The Fortnite Monopoly is a big one. Risk is a big one. There's a game called Stratego in Life, right? Stratego is an old game, and I introduced it in my classroom actually one time because we were done at the end of the year, and I brought some board games from home, and one of them was Stratego, and they go against each other in these little pieces, and after then they got taken off into the gaming club because they want to play in there, and then afterwards they really like playing it on their own. I bring some kind of strategy games, like I could bring the game of Life but in cards, and it's played a little bit differently, and they'll take ownership of that. They'll play, and so we have Battleship in cards and Battleship with the actual game board.
I didn't know those things were available in card games. Interesting.
I didn't know either. I went in Walmart, they were there, and I was like, we'll try it.
And they like that too?
And they like it too. It's just, and sometimes they just want to play just for the first time, just to see what it's about. And they'll take that interest. And then Uno is another big one as well with the guys. And actually, Uno helps kind of bridge that gap between the boys and the girls playing, because they'll challenge each other. And sometimes they form little teams they don't know about. I've been in a team before. I didn't know I was in a team with someone, and they were like, "Yeah, you and I are working together." And I was like, "No, we're not." On your own, but if you want to work with me, you get me. Yeah, I'll be rid of my card. That's cool. But yeah, the Uno is probably the biggest game to bridge that gap. And then afterwards, it'd be Life, Monopoly, and the Fortnite Monopoly. Those are the big ones that help bridge, and even your basic ones like Connect Four and all those. Yeah. That helps bridge that gap between boys and girls.
Okay. And you were also talking about the virtual reality. Can you make some recommendations for that? Do you guys have the full-on goggles? Do you have the Google Cardboard goggles?
It comes in a kit, right?
Yes, the PlayStation one comes in a kit.
You can buy the kit, and it has all those materials on there. It's easy to find, like at places like Walmart. If your district allows you, probably the best place to go is Amazon because you can get it a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, how much was the VR kit? I don't remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think we spent more than $100 on it.
Okay. And have you? Oh, sorry. What was that? Oh, what are the VR games that you guys recommend? You said the Office one, and then what are some of the other ones that have worked out well or been popular?
They have so many downloaded.
Oh, really?
Trying to think of them. It's kind of an experiment with them. They find a game like, hey, we should play this, and they try it, and then I recommend free. If it's free, let them try it. Or if it's a game you already have, but they offer it in VR, I recommend that as well.
Okay. So you really just, it's free, you just kind of let them go explore and figure out which VR games they want.
Yes.
We also, when we went to Walmart, they had $2 VR goggles as well that they send you to their website, and you can download things like a roller coaster, swimming under sea, and like
I'm
you use
sorry,
it, you use
download
your
games
phone.
like what? Roller coaster and what?
Roller coaster or take a undersea voyage, and all you do is you upload it on your phone, and you put your phone in the VR goggles, and it takes care of everything. And the goggles were like $2.
And that's worked out really well as well?
Yeah, they really enjoyed that as well. I mean, you know, yes, and like all of them were like, "Why are you on your phone?" They're like, "Oh, we're downloading games for the VR goggles." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And you just got those at Walmart?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, okay. Great. Um, is there anything else that you can think of that's been helpful or useful or you would recommend to somebody who's getting started or trying to take theirs to the next level?
Just listen to your students. I mean, that's what we're here for, and that's who we work. I mean, why we work for. They'll tell you what they want, and and if you listen to them and follow through, I mean, you're gonna have a successful program.
Okay, awesome.
And then one another aspect that we did was we did a morning session before school, and some of our students who had really poor attendance, it really increased their attendance
Oh,
at
really?
school because they were coming to school because they knew in the morning they could have a little relaxer before they start their school day, and
Oh,
that's really boosted their attendance
really? Wow, interesting. And so how many days a week do you offer the morning gaming?
every day,
Every day? Is it like 45 minutes, an hour?
45 minutes.
45 minutes right before school. And you've seen
Yes,
attendance
ma'am.
improvements.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, very cool. And then do they then stay after school as well, or they just kind of need something to get them there in the morning?
Oh no, they still come after school as well.
Wow, okay. Great. That's a really neat tip too. I wouldn't have thought about that. Okay. Anything else that you guys that you've kind of incorporated that's been really successful with anything?
Uh,
That was a
I,
great addition.
I think that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Brian said, just follow whatever your kids do or what they like, find those interests, build off of it, challenge them, have them challenge each other.
Sounds like having those challenges, something
Yes,
structured to do is pretty
Yes.
important.
yes,
Continuing to
and
give
just be,
them a goal.
and be very open. You may be one of the guys that doesn't like violence, but your kids they love playing those cheesy games that have violence. So let them play. You don't necessarily have to play with them in that case, but at the same time, go play a board game. You're still monitoring the video game, but you're playing a board game like Uno
Right.
or something like that with your kids, and just migrate between those groups. If you're an administrator, so don't just sit there with the board games all day. Go venture off to the video games. Either challenge them or watch them and give them points or something like that you can help them with, and definitely help them with trying to get those challenges done that you have for them, whether it's weekly or monthly.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you guys so much. This has been really interesting and I've learned a lot for sure. So I'm really excited to share this video out too. And then just to wrap up, you guys have had the esports club for ever since ACE began, roughly about 2.5 years now, I guess.
Just kind of second semester.
We
I guess
probably
2
didn't have
years.
the first semester.
Yes.
That second semester of our first year, we started,
Okay.
and we just been building off of there.
So I guess that would be about a year then now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sounds like you guys have had a lot of growth in just a year.
Oh yeah. Word of mouth carries. I mean, once the students really enjoy it, they just bring friends because they're just competitive. Our students are really, really competitive, and it doesn't matter. They could be playing tic tac toe. No matter what, they're just really competitive.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And I might be reaching out again just to get some of the links to the different things that you recommended. So thank you. I think this was a really great start and lots of great tips and tricks to help people get started. So appreciate your time today, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and have a good summer.
Yes, ma'am.
You
You too.
too.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.